You're listening to the Women in Wellness podcast, a program to help you create gorgeous growth for your blissful business in health and wellness. I'm Dr. Gabby, holistic health expert and founder of Women in Wellness, a one-of-a-kind course and community designed to empower and inform you about how to build a purposeful and profitable holistic business. And I'm very excited for today's guest, Meg Haworth. Dr. Meg is a holistic psychologist, nutrition strategist, and private celebrity chef with 20 years of personal and professional experience helping others heal themselves with food and the power of the mind. Dr. Meg has been featured in the LA Times, NBC Nightly News, and teaches cooking classes at Whole Foods Markets. She's the author of 5 books in nutrition and personal development. Hi, Dr. Meg.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so nice to see you again. We were at the Mindshare Summit together in San Diego, right? And I felt like I was on such a high when we were there. And now I've been home for a while and I'm sort of like, meh, meh, meh. and I'm so grateful to have opportunity to have these conversations because I get so energized.
Yes.
Like connecting to you and the other amazing women that were at the conference. I was kind of blown away by the people that were there. So you have a very diverse background and you have all these incredible experiences. And I'm wondering if you could tell us like a little bit about the journey or sort of how your career unfolded with these different elements.
Okay. Yes, I'd love to. Wow. So it started really with illness. I was in my 20s and in and out of doctor's offices and getting one diagnosis after the next, like irritable bowel syndrome and God, I had so many.
You're like, I have everything.
Ulcers, migraine headaches, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder from childhood abuse, sexual abuse. There was just one thing after the next, and I just kept getting sicker and sicker, and kept getting more and more diagnoses. And so eventually what happened was I'm from DC originally. I now live in Los Angeles. And I was reading the Washingtonian magazine. It was an article on alternative medicine. At the time I was 27 and I could barely hold the magazine up. I was in so much pain from muscle spasms in my neck and upper back from scoliosis and a ruptured disc in my neck. And I'm reading about chiropractic care, and I thought, oh, that'll be great for so-and-so. And then it just clicked with me. I was so busy thinking about everyone else and not taking care of myself that I thought, no, you can't hold up this magazine. What's your problem? Like it hurt to lift a glass of water to my mouth, you know? So I said, okay, I need to go. And so I went to a chiropractor, and she opened up this whole different world of holistic medicine to me. So I went to the chiropractor, she sent me to a nutritionist, and then that's where I learned about my food allergies, gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, very sensitive to a lot of different things, which most of us are.
Right.
I like to continue to always convey that message. Most of us are suffering from some sort of food allergy because what you put in your body determines most things, not everything. But most.
Right. We'll get to the mind part in a minute, right?
Yeah. So anyway, so basically that was my wake up call, my wake up call experience. And I took it and I ran with it. I just studied. I couldn't stop reading and going to school and getting certified for this and that. And eventually I landed on holistic psychology. Transpersonal psychology is my PhD is what that's in.
Where did you study that? I went to California Institute of Integral Studies and did the transformative learning program there. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I went to Delphi University.
Nice.
It was very, very avant-garde, very, like, I studied some really out there philosophies and ideas, but it was the hardest thing I ever did and the most rewarding thing I ever did.
Same for me. I thought I was going to die during my dissertation. Every day I'd call my mentor. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. And he'd be like, you're going to make it. Like, you're just so dramatic.
Exactly. I had a very similar experience. So, but I mean, it's, I think the thing that transpersonal psychology does is it forces you to look at yourself, all aspects of yourself, not just, you know, how wonderful I am, which is great. We've got to focus on that, but also to look at the darkest aspects of you and what you project into the world onto other people around you and to heal those aspects. So that was the biggest healing. And that was where I had the biggest realizations, and my body really shifted and changed through that. And then
Right.
food supported my body to continue healing. And then the journey continued. I ended up with a diagnosis of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, like 15 years later, and then healed that. And then the big thing that happened was I was struck by lightning 2 years ago. And then that was a huge experience, because to me, that was the major initiation and wake up call to, okay, what's the next level of service here? And that's where I integrated my work as a private celebrity chef, and knowing how to make food taste amazing, how to create recipes, also my nutrition background. And then
So what's the relationship between getting struck by lightning and food?
I know.
How are those two things related? I would think that maybe you came out of that and you're like, I'm psychic, I'm channeling like avatars or something, but somehow that became about nutrition for you.
That was a big piece of it. So it's nutrition and holistic psychology, and integrating those two together. But one of the things that I had to heal in that experience was nervous system damage and brain damage to 3 areas of my brain. And so I looked into brain nutrition and how do I focus on that? So, of course, fish oil was a big thing. It was a huge thing that helped. High doses of that. And then fats in general, just a lot of plant-based fats, adding a lot of avocado and nuts and seeds, and focusing on completely organic. And I've been sort of back and forth. I've kind of been eating cheese here and there, and that was really making me sick.
Wow.
So at any rate, it led me into deeper studies in nutrition and wellness. So, and then
at some point you decided that you wanted to like teach or coach or guide other people on this journey. How did you go from doing it as self-care to like doing it for others?
I've been doing that for others for the last almost 20 years. So it's when I started taking all kinds of workshops, I started applying the things that I was learning right away on all my poor unsuspecting friends at the time. A lot of them are still friends, still clients actually after 20 years. So anyway, I have been doing this kind of work for a very long time. Finished my PhD in 2004. So that's been 12 years, and I had private practice here in Los Angeles, doing exclusively that, and then ended up being a celebrity chef, which that was a weird turn of events I did not expect. So,
I think that's an LA thing, because I lived in LA 2005 to 2009, and I started working in drug and alcohol treatment centers, and the high-end treatment centers are all celebrities. So it's rock stars and actors, and that's just who lives in LA. So I feel like that must be an LA thing, that if you're there long enough, you're going to end up working as a celebrity something.
Yeah,
like, because that's the clientele there, right?
yeah, exactly. That is part of it. And you too have to be really good at what you do, because they have choices. They have major choices in front of them, because there's so many people saturating the market with chefs and therapists and all kinds of things. So yeah. So anyway, so that's been, it's a fun ride. And now I do my coaching and wellness programs, helping people with food and the power of the mind, and environmental detox, because that goes a long way to really helping people with getting well. Is, what body products they're using, what makeup are you using, what things are you spraying on your counters, your kitchen counters,
What's your philosophy with that kind of stuff? Like, is it that you find certain brands that you resonate with, or you make stuff yourself, or, what's your philosophy with like house and body products?
Well, I do a combination. I have certain brands that I use, but I also will make some things myself. And when I work with a client, it's on a case-by-case basis. If somebody's got cancer and they're really in the extreme, I'm going to say, you know what, you really need to be making your body products. And here's how simple it is. Go get a virgin coconut oil and put that on your skin. If you can eat it, then put it on your skin. You can wear it. So
right.
because it only takes 28 seconds for something to enter your bloodstream. You're putting onto your skin. It's your
Right.
and, if you've got something that's got all kinds of chemicals in it that aren't tested, this is what most people don't know. Our government doesn't require testing and rigorous regulations on body products. So.
I feel like we went through maybe 5 or 10 years ago. I feel like we went through a big paradigm shift with regards to food. Food Inc. came out and all those other movies came out and everybody got on the food train and there was like a consciousness shift there. And I feel like we're just kind of in that shift now, that paradigm shift around products, around, Jessica Alba came out with all those Honest products. And I think a bunch of other celebrities have different lines, but I feel like we're sort of getting into the recognizing that the skin is an organ and that it's just as important as what you're eating. It feels like we're on the cusp of that. I hear it more and more often.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. People are talking about it a lot more. Environmental Working Group. That's a great organization I like to refer people to, because they're the watchdogs that really are analyzing these products and letting you know, like, this is safe, that's not safe, and here's what's in the mainstream stuff that's, probably contributing to your cancer diagnosis or diabetes or thyroid issues, all kinds of hormone-driven disorders.
Right. And in addition to like the coaching you were doing and being a chef and everything, you found time to write 5 books. How did that happen? Like I'm working on my 2nd book now and I'm like, it's like at midnight when I sit down to write. How did you manage to write 5 books during this process?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I have my undergraduate degrees in writing. So writing is something that's sort of second nature to me. And so I just enjoy the process. I'm writing another book right now. So,
what's it about?
It's called Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. So it's really the best of what I know about how to heal yourself with food and your own beautiful heart, because that's really that's where it all happens. Underneath it all is when you transform that inner life that you have, then your outer life, it reflects it back to you. So, and your world is constantly giving you opportunities for things to transform, in your relationships and your, and the things that happen in your life, the things that are difficult to go through, those are where your best learnings are, right?
Yeah, except that they make me really mad.
I know.
I get so like mad. I'm like, no, I already did this one. Why is this happening? And I get very resistant. I don't know if that happens to you, but I'm 42 and I feel like over time I've gotten a little bit better about going, okay, like, but I still have that resistance because I find I get to like a place where I'm comfortable and I just want to stay there. I'm like, oh, this feels so nice. I just want to stay here.
Yeah. And then
do you have any tips for when life kind of blows up at you and all that stuff that was in your shadow comes up, how to sort of manage that?
Yeah, well, what I always tell my clients is the fun never stops. As long as you're in a body, you're going to have something you've got to work out,
Mm-hmm.
And we all have our different areas of weakness. And that's that area of, quote, weakness, which I really think it's not weakness. I think it's your greatest strength, or it's opportunity to develop your greatest strength, because those areas are the ones that are teaching you about who you really are. Those are the ones that are putting you into yourself, putting you through anger and sadness and, this lesson that like, oh, I'm getting this lesson again. I'm in the middle of another lesson right now. And
you got another lesson.
A big lesson on relationships that I'm in the middle of again. And it's very similar to the same one that I keep getting over and over again. And I think I finally got it. So, and I think that's a big thing I did this time is I sat in the middle of the muck and the mire and I waited and I listened and I paid attention and I talked to people and I heard what they were asking me. And then I was like, okay, well, if your outer world's a reflection of your inner world and I'm getting this lesson about trust, how am I not trusting myself? Where did I fail myself in that moment? And so I think that's a big tip right there, is turning it back in on you. where did you fail yourself in this particular lesson? Where did you not trust you? Where did you not love yourself um, to the extreme that you were loving this other human being, you
Right.
know? Where
Mm-hmm.
did you not give to you? Where did you sell yourself out? You know, all of those questions. I think a lot of us don't want to look at that. But when you do, it's so powerful, because then you start to learn that self-trust and that self-love, and that's really what it all comes down to. That's really what
Yeah,
you.
that really resonates with me. I'm also very reflective in that way of looking at, instead of saying, oh, that person did this to me, I always look at myself and like, okay, what am I doing here that's causing this to happen? Because I'm doing something to
Right.
this situation. Even if it's just that I'm feeling bad about the situation, then I can have a perspective shift that makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then that big question of, why did you allow this in the first place?
mhm.
Why did you allow somebody to just run right over you instead of just standing up for yourself? So, and I think that's, that's one of my lessons. And I think a lot of women have that same lesson. You know, we give a lot to our relationships and to people around us, and often think that we're being selfish when we give to ourselves. I think that's too much, but if you don't do it, everyone suffers around you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I also mentioned in the introduction to you that
Mhm.
you've been featured in the media, you're teaching classes at Whole Food Markets. Is that part of spreading this message? What's your mission? Like, what is the mission that you're on?
The mission I'm on is to help people heal themselves with food and the power of the mind. And I use chronic illness as the thing that I talk about to people about, but it's also persistent symptoms. Our country is so toxic. I hate to say it, but we are. I mean, the amount of we have over 44,000 chemicals in our environment and in our food. Over 10,000 of them are in our food supply. And we're swallowing this every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting sicker and sicker. And I think, I just know that a lot of, especially women I'm seeing with autoimmune diseases, by the time they hit around 40, they're dealing with irritable bowels, with all kinds of bowel diseases and dysfunctions. And so much of it it's just your diet, first of all, but then it's also your choices, the way you think about life. Your choices have a huge impact on you. And then past traumas and how you're carrying those forward. And that's a big part of what I help people clear,
Mm-hmm.
are those traumas, and I help them do it at the cellular level with mind-body techniques,
Mm-hmm.
in conjunction with, here's a diet that's going to be supportive of this condition you have.
And so for practitioners that are listening that share your passion for, psychology, share your passion for nutrition and stuff like that, and they're trying to get out there and they're trying to teach and write and practice and stuff, do you have any tips? Like, to what do you attribute your own success in doing this kind of work and helping people heal? And what do you think are some things that they should know if they're on a kind of the same journey that you're on?
I think that your dedication to your own growth and working on that every single day in some manner, even on the really good days, noticing all the beautiful things you have in your life, all of the glory that's around you all the time, that makes a huge difference. Working on those stuck points that you have, because again, your outer world's a reflection of your inner world, and the more you clean and clear and work with that, the more powerful things become for you.
Do you have a favorite thing that you do to clear besides the food and being mindful of the food? Is there anything else that like my go-tos are like yoga, meditation, massage, EFT. Like, do you have any go-to things when you need to get rid of something?
Yeah, meditation, writing, going to the beach, spending time in nature, just being around the beauty of life, and reminding myself that that's always there. We get sort of, narrow focused, and we forget
We
everything
get
that's
on the
wrong.
computer or the cell phone and we don't get off.
Yeah. So I use journaling. Journaling is a huge healer and helper for me. And then talking to friends, going to self-realization fellowship is right here in
That
Hollywood.
lake, that gorgeous lake.
Yeah, the lake shrine. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. I mean, just finding things that resonate with you. And that's what I always tell my clients too, is find the thing that works for you and resonates with you, but do it. Don't just sit there in the sadness, which I think a lot of us, we feel like we can't get motivated to go forward. But if you force yourself to get up and do it, you'll feel so much better.
Amen.
So much better.
Yeah. I
There's
love
so
that.
many.
It's everywhere all the time. Like you can just go out and find it. Find people, find places that replenish you and nourish you. There's unlimited choices. We live in like the most amazing country ever, where we have unlimited choices, right? To do self-care and to connect with cool people. So if people who are listening, if they want to follow you, if they want to get one of your books, if they want to do coaching, how can they get in touch?
You can find me on the web on my website, meghaworth.com. It's MEGHAWORTH.com. I also have a private Facebook community, and I'd love to have anybody join that's really interested in health and wellness. We help each other through our different illnesses, and there's lots of inspiration and information. And on my regular Facebook page, I post a lot of ideas of gluten-free, dairy-free, organic food that you can eat. A lot of people are like, what do we eat for dinner tonight? I don't know how to eat like this, and that's a big part of my passion, is helping to teach people how to eat this way, and in a way that's actually delicious, that so they don't feel like, I'm eating cardboard.
Yeah, a lot of
And
those
it's
places
easy.
you go to, like the vegan places or whatever, you get food and you're like, this doesn't taste like food.
Exactly. So
That's the worst. Okay,
and
cool.
I also have a podcast series on iTunes called Get Well Soon.
Nice.
So find me on the podcast, and
Yay.
that's
Look
on
up
my
Dr.
blog.
Meg Haworth and connect with her and follow her and get her books. And we love you, Dr. Meg. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks, Dr. Gabby. It's been awesome talking to you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. You can join the Women in Wellness Club at women-in-wellness.com.